talk about bow hold now. So first of all, you need to know that your bow has different parts, right? This part is the stick. This part right here is the horsehair. Yes, it's made from a real horse. And this part, make sure you never, ever, ever touch the horsehair, okay? It can cause problems where your bow won't work properly if you get your hand oils or your sticky fingers on it. So please don't do that. We have our frog, we have our turning screw, and we have the tip of the bow, right? Okay, so the first thing, when you get your bow out of your case, you need to, it should always be loosened when you first get it out of its case. So when I say it's loosened, that means that the hairs, you see them, they're kind of touching the stick. There's no space between the hair and the stick. So using the turning screw, I am going to tighten this until there's a little bit of space, and it'll take quite a few turns until there's a little bit of space between the stick and the hair. Okay, I like to use my pinky as a measurement. I don't stick my pinky through, but I hold it up and I kind of eyeball it like, is that about as wide as my pinky? And I measure that in the middle of the bow, not down here, because I can always fit my pinky down here, and not at the very tip, because again, I can always fit my pinky here. But somewhere in the middle, we want our bow just tight enough that it's about the width of our pinky. Once you've got your bow tightened, I want you're going to use both hands for this activity. So with your left hand, I want you to just hold on to the frog with a fist. You're not holding the bow correctly yet. With your other hand, I want you to locate these little lines on our middle fingers. They're the little lines where our fingers bend. We don't want the ones that are furthest away or the ones closest to our palm, but we want the one right in the very center. Okay, you are going to line up with these middle lines. You're going to line those up with the stick, okay? And I want you to let your fingers curl around the stick, and there should be a little bit of space between each finger, just like this, okay? Again, we're not touching the bow hair. The next thing I'd like you to do is I'd like you to wave at me with your thumb. You should be able to move this thumb back and forth with ease. If this is troubling for you, this is something you should practice, waving your thumb. Okay, now your thumb is going to be bent just a little bit, kind of like you're texting your friend on your cell phone, and you're going to bring that thumb and let it just touch the stick. Ooh, it's kind of hard to see, but it's just going to touch the stick like that. I'm not putting it through the stick, and I'm not using a flat thumb. I'm kind of leaning on the corner of my thumb, okay? So we have our nice curved fingers. They're lined up with those knuckles where they bend. Our thumb waves at us and comes across from our middle finger, touching the stick. Now, we get to do this thing that I call slide and bump. You are going to slide your right hand, your bow hand, all the way until it bumps into this very, very edge of your frog. Okay, so we're going to go slide and bump. I'm still holding on with both hands. We're not done yet. Okay, now notice I can wiggle my fingers. They're not touching the bow hair, and it's not the tips of my fingers touching the stick. I'm still using the knuckles to hold the bow. Okay, my thumb is just right on the edge of my frog. It's not in the little hole there, but it's just barely touching, okay? This is gonna feel really, really weird at first. You're gonna feel like you're gonna drop the bow. If you drop your bow a couple times, that's okay. You're a beginner. That's where you're at right now, okay? Now, we're not done. If we're a cello or a bass, we're done, and we can flip our hands over. Okay, but if you're a violin or viola, you have one more step. Okay, you get to pull this pinky down and curve it, okay, so that it is sitting on the stick. Okay, now we can flip it over. You might want to use your other hand to grab the stick and hold on, but now we've got our bow hold. Your ring finger might be touching the frog, That's okay. Your middle finger might be touching this silver part, which is the ferrule. That's okay. Our pinky should be above the frog. Our pinky should not be way out at the like way out on the turning screw. That's too far. We want it curved. And if you've got a little baby weak pinky, this is going to probably hurt a little bit. You might feel it down here in your arm. You might feel it back here in your elbow. Don't worry, you'll get stronger. Okay, so this is our bow hold. Okay, now that was a really slow version. Let's do it a little bit faster. Okay, go ahead and give your hand a shake. Give your other hand a shake. Hold your bow in your wrong hand, in your left hand. Locate those knuckle joints. Okay, line the stick up with those knuckle joints. Let your fingers flex just a little bit. Thumb waves, sits across from middle finger. Slide and bump. Fix that pinky and flip it over. Okay, and again, you're using your other hand as a helper hand because we might have some very, very weak pinkies that aren't ready to hold all of the weight of this bow. Okay, so you're going to practice lining it up, wave across from middle finger, slide, bump, fix your pinky, and then check out that bow hold. Okay, happy bow holding.